So have you ever felt like you're just sprinting through life trying to keep up with all the things that you have to do? But deep down, you know that this is just like not the way you want to live. That was me not too long ago. And I felt drained and unfulfilled and always angry, which is not a good way to live. And it wasn't until I experienced a life-altering event in my life, which I don't want you to have to ever experience, that forced me to slow down and to like really reflect on my life and how I really want to live. And that's when I started embracing slow living. So today I want to share with you how it all began. And if you're new here, I'm Suin, and this is Cozy Notes, a space where we slow down, rediscover joy in our lives, and live more intentionally. And I'm so glad you're here. So grab a cuppa and let's dive in. So a little bit about me. I am a middle school history teacher, and about 14 years ago, I decided to quit my job because I was burnt out and stressed out. And you would think that would be the beginning of my slow living journey, but it wasn't. I then started to have children, and that kind of put me in this whole other zone of busyness. I mean, obviously having kids, you're busy, but you know, the whole keeping up with the moms kind of a thing, especially if you joined a mom group or what have you. And that just, a lot of overdoing things. That's like back when Pinterest first came out. So there was like a lot of just, trying to create awesome activities, and Instagram came out as well. So posting things about your family and your kids and like what you're doing and all the cool things. It was like a whole different hamster wheel I was on compared to when I was a teacher. And I was burning out. I was doing way too much, trying to keep up with everything, trying to host play dates, trying to, take those like aesthetic family Instagram photos and take my kids to all these fun events and share that what we've been doing and all that stuff. And then I homeschool as well. So you had another layer there where I'm like showcasing like the fun homeschool things that we were doing and, like look at this activity that my kids did, etc. And it was overwhelming and it didn't feel good. It just didn't feel good. And I knew that, but it was hard for me to let go. It was hard for me to not do all the things and be like this overachieving mom, because I think that's essentially what it was. I was an overachieving mom, just as I was an overachieving teacher. And yeah, I burned out. I was burning out. I was burning out fast. I was like not enjoying the people I was around. I was like angry all the time. I was frustrated and irritated. And, I kind of blamed it on my cycle and just like I'm an older mom. Like I didn't start having kids until I was 36. And the last kid I had, I think I was like 42 or 43 when I had her. And so anyways, all these things happening. I was burning out. I was tired. I was frustrated. I was having a hard time sleeping. I was overwhelmed. I was just doing too much. And I was trying to like keep up this image of how a mom is supposed to be and supposed to look like, what a stay-at-home mom is supposed to look like, what a homeschool mom is supposed to look like and be. Yeah, it was just too much. And it wasn't until I had my third child, she was a big baby, and a couple of days after I was released from the hospital, I ripped and I hemorrhaged. I had to go back to the hospital, to the ER. It was a very traumatic situation. I was bleeding profusely, and the ER wasn't taking it very seriously because I'm a pretty calm person. Whenever like a stressful situation happens, I get into this calm mode and I just start figuring out how I can solve the situation. I get into like problem solving mode is what it is. So when I went to the hospital, I was quite calm and they didn't take it seriously. So anyways, it took a while for me to actually get them to take it seriously and to get the help that I needed. And so there I am lying on a cot, kind of out of it, losing a lot of blood. And there is a nurse that was, when I was admitted, she was supposed to like I was admitted like 10 minutes before she would be off duty, I guess. And she decided to stay until I went into the operating room, into the OR, get a DNC, I guess. But it took a while because like it was a shift change, right? So like one doctor was not on duty, and so I had to wait for the next doctor to come in. So yeah, I'm kind of glad though, because the doctor that came in to fix me up, he's one of the best obstetricians in the county, so that was a good thing. But other than that, I was laying on that bed and I was just thinking, you know what? Like everything I've been doing is pointless. Everything I've been doing is pointless. Like everything I was doing didn't bring me value in any way, didn't make me happy, didn't make me feel fulfilled in any way. I was just like ticking off boxes about what I thought a stay-at-home mom and a homeschool mom should be doing. And I didn't realize that like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I post those pictures. It didn't matter. Yeah, it just didn't matter if I cooked everything from scratch. It just didn't matter if I hosted a play date or like none of it mattered. Like if I did have a play date, it didn't have to be, cute in any way. It didn't have to have like crafts and stuff for the kids to do. Like just let the kids play, right? So I just realized lying on that bed that like a lot of the things I was doing was just pointless and I needed to make a change. And I told myself like I'm not a religious person, spiritual maybe, but I told myself that if I got out of this alive, I was going to make some changes. I was going to stop people pleasing because I realized that was one of the things I was doing, making other people comfortable and happy. Also, I was going to devote more time for rest because that was something else that I wasn't doing. I wasn't resting, like truly resting. Like if you're on your phone doom scrolling, you're not really resting. And then more time with my family. I was spending a lot of time with my family, but it wasn't like really deep. It wasn't a deep connection, if you know what I mean. It was very superficial. It was all looking good for the pictures, basically. So when I got out of the hospital and came home and rested quite a bit, luckily my mom was there. I'm half Asian. So those of you that are Asian, customary for like the first month postpartum, you usually have your mom or your aunt or someone there helping out around the house, like cooking and cleaning, doing all the things so that you're just bonding and feeding the baby, and healing as well. And so luckily I had my mom and my aunt there. And I think both of my aunts, I don't remember, but I know for sure my mom and one of my aunts was there. And they took care of me, which I'm so grateful for. I got the rest that I needed. And during that time, I really reflected on exactly what I needed to do to really change my life. And the first thing I needed to do was to learn boundaries, to learn to say no. And which is kind of hard. When you do something new, it's like challenge. It feels uncomfortable and weird. And if you're a people pleaser, then that feels even more weird and awkward and unwelcoming because like you want other people to be happy. But the thing is that you can't really make other people happy. Only they can make themselves happy. So yeah, it was just learning how to set boundaries and keeping those boundaries. And then also adjusting the boundaries because sometimes when we set boundaries, we set them too strict and they don't always have to be so strict, But yeah, setting boundaries, learning to say no, and just not doing too much. I also started doing less commitments, and then also creating space in my life. So before I would pretty much stack tasks and events back to back rather than having space between them. Because, oftentimes we don't quite know how long something will take. We have an idea how long it will take, or we have a hope that it'll take a certain amount of time, but oftentimes it takes a lot longer. And so just incorporating space between events or tasks helped a lot. By having that buffer, I guess you would say, by having that buffer, I wasn't late all the time. I didn't feel stressed or overwhelmed, oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up and get this done because we gotta hurry up and go do something else. And yeah, it just brought a lot of calm and peace. Something so simple as creating a buffer period between activities can ease your anxiety so much. And it was just, yeah, that was probably the most important thing that I did, was having those buffer periods, learning to say no and setting those boundaries. Now, let me tell you, it wasn't easy because, FOMO, we all have that fear of missing out. And by setting those boundaries and by saying no, there's a lot of FOMO. You had to learn the opposite of the joy of missing out. So like, yeah, maybe we're not going to go to this really cool food festival that's happening, but we are staying home and we're saving money and we're enjoying a nice home cooked meal at home, because sometimes when you go to those food festivals, you got the long lines and the food may be aesthetic and cool looking to take an Instagram picture, but they're not always tasty. That's just, yeah. If you know, you know. I just had to like counter those feelings of FOMO with something positive of why, you know, what's benefiting us by staying home, by not doing this activity, by not going to this event. And yeah, like also like feeling bad for saying no to someone if they have like a party or if they invite you somewhere. I mean, I can't do it all. I can't be everywhere and do all the things. Like maybe it could fit in my calendar, but then everything is packed in. So there's no buffer room there. And then it becomes stressful. And then, you know, by the time the event comes around, it's like, crap, why did I do that? Why did I say yes? Why did I commit to this? And that's not a good feeling. And you don't want to cancel on someone. And you don't, yeah. So it's better to be preemptive, I guess, and to like really be truthful and honest with yourself. Do you have the time? Do you have the capacity to do it? And oftentimes it's no. So trust your instincts, slow down and think about it. Think about it and be totally honest with yourself. Because I'm the type of person that wants to do all the things. I want to do all the things. I want to help all the people. I want to do, yeah, I just have my hands everywhere. And I have to constantly ask myself, do you have the time and do you have the capacity? And oftentimes that answer is no. So when I finally started to slow down my life, I started seeing the positive impact that it had. I was no longer angry all the time or irritated all the time. I used to take, I mean, I still do, but I used to take CBD to help like calm my nerves sometime in my anxiety. And I used to take a lot of it. Now it's not very often. But yeah, slowing down has helped my consumption of CBD. And then also my relationships with my kids are better. You know, I'm not making them cry because I'm irritated or frustrated with them. We're taking things a little bit slower. We're going at their pace. So like I said, I homeschool and we're moving at their pace, not at the pace that society dictates that they should be going at. And yeah, it's just really nice. Like I said, having the buffer period between activities and it's just not a rush. My life is no longer a mad rush, a mad dash, trying to get to point A to point B. I have time to do the things that I want to do. And yeah, saying no is really awesome. And yeah, some people out there are offended that I say no, you know, like I don't know why, but that's on them, not on me, because they get upset because I say no, because I don't have the time or capacity to do something. That's on them, not on me, because I know what I'm able to do. And if I show up for everyone and everything, I'm not going to be the best person. I'm not going to be there fully. You know what I mean? And so if people can't handle you setting boundaries or saying no, that's on them. So like I said, like the biggest changes that I've experienced since slowing down is like improved mental health for sure. Like my anxiety level is way down. I don't get irritated with my family so easily. And yeah, I feel better overall as a human being. And then I also have more joy and connection in my daily life. So I'm present and I'm enjoying the little things in life and, you know, have a better connection with my family and with my friends. And it's just really wonderful. I just really love it. And then I'm also like, I feel very aligned with my values, and my actions are reflecting my values, which I think is really awesome. And I also have a purpose. Like before, my purpose in life was, I don't know, I don't think I really had a purpose. I also feel like I've discovered my purpose. My purpose is to help overwhelmed women, overwhelmed moms, busy women, to take back their time and to rediscover joy in their lives. And that would have never happened if I didn't make the choice to slow down in my life and to really reflect on how the like hustle culture has really affected our lives. Has really permeated throughout society, this idea of constantly being busy and productive and doing better and greater things, and then couple that with social media and comparing yourself to others and seeing what other people are doing and wanting to do what they're doing, and it's just overwhelming. It's just way too much. And so now I enjoy sitting down. Like, I used to not have time to read books. Like when I was a teacher or when I first had kids, I did not have time to read books. And I loved reading. I was one of those voracious readers where I just read so many books. And that was something I was missing from my life. And now I have the time. I have the time and the energy and the mental capacity to open up a book and to read it. And that has been one of the greatest joys of slowing down, is to just be able to read again and to really enjoy reading and not feeling like I have to read because I'm in a book club and I have to, read this book so I have something to contribute at the book club meeting, or, I have to read a book because it's what everyone else is reading or whatever. Now I'm just reading because I want to read for enjoyment. I don't want to watch TV all the time. I don't want to be on my phone scrolling on social media. And so, yeah, it's just wonderful to slow down and to just really be present. So if you want to start slowing down in your life, I think the first step that you need to do is to kind of track your time. Like, where is your time going? What are you doing? And I think once you kind of take a time audit, then you can start seeing where you can eliminate things or where you can create buffer zones or what have you. I mean, you're going to have to eliminate things in order to create buffer zones, because there's no way to create a buffer zone when things are kind of packed side by side. I think that's the first thing that you should do, is do that. Also, it's okay. You don't have to like go all in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to slow down. I'm just going to flip a switch and all of a sudden my life is going to be slow. It's like, no, it's a slow process. My life didn't change overnight. It was a lot of small little changes that I made over the years that led me to where I am today. And so just remember that it's not something that's going to happen very quickly. It's something it's slow going, but it's something that you can do. And you don't need to like sell all your stuff and become a minimalist. And you don't need to, move to a homestead and become a homesteader, a farmer, or whatever. You don't need to do any of that. You don't need to go move to the English countryside to live a slower paced life. You can do it right where you're at. And it's more of a mindset than anything else. And just remember, slowing down isn't about doing less. It's about doing what matters most to you. And not everything in life that we do matters the most to us. If everything is important, then nothing is important, because you don't have time. You have to prioritize your life. You have to prioritize your values. You have to prioritize your activities, because you can't do it all. You can't be everywhere. In that book, Lean In, what is it? I don't remember. Don't listen to it. You can't have it all. You can't have it all. But you can have what's most important to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you're interested in working one-on-one with me, I do have like 2 openings left for my one-on-one coaching. It's like a 12-week series. So I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.